Board games, I might be talking about, yes, I will. Board games, but I'm not gonna shout until after maybe the show is done. I might one day shout just for fun, but I totally won't shout during the show because your eardrums are not something I want to blow. I'll talk about what games I playtested yesterday. I'll talk about I'll talk about the way that I want to continue these games, and I will also tell you their potential names. Board games. I'll talk about board games, but I'm not going to shout. Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are. Hello, Jess. It is 10 a.m. UK time. It is basically around the time when I do busy beats and board game blether. And today I'm talking about yesterday. I'm just catching up with my games in progress. I'm going to show what I did yesterday. I'll talk a wee bit about what I'm up to. And yeah, that's basically it. Hello again, Jess. And yeah. So let's. Yesterday I went to playtest. I playtested a bunch of games. Playtested 3 of my own games. I've also worked on a few other things this week. I'll maybe talk about all that, and we'll see if we want to talk about anything else. Before we go to that, apart from obviously playtesting, what else have been some of my recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. You can feel free if you want to share recent highlights, let me know, I promise I care. Recent highlights, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? Jess is grading tests and eating healthy desserts, walked a lot and went health food shopping. Congratulations. Oh, so I got a lot of tinned curry. So I had a special delivery from Asda. So what happened was that I got to delivery and I got like um, six different peanut butters, and I tasted all the peanut butters. The whole earth is a little bit dry. The Asda own market, I actually prefer that. But the best one is, in my opinion, is the Marmite peanut butter. I mean, not just about the yeast extract being in there, but the chunkiness. I mean, sure, peanut butter is dry, but like you can have it a bit oily. It depends on how you blend it. It all depends on how you blend it. Let me actually let me show you a little photo. So here are 6 peanut butters. So at the top, we've got the whole earth peanut butter with added dates and cocoa. All of these are sugar-free. On the right, you've got the chunky whole earth. The bottom right is the smooth whole earth. Then you've got the chunky one from Asda, then the smooth one from Asda, and then the Marmite one. And so you can really see the difference in texture. And those Asda ones, they've just kind of fallen off their spoon. And so, yeah, I mean, I know there's other nut butters out there, but yeah. And just says, I'm glad to know you spend your hard-earned money on important things. Macadamia and cashew butter. I've never seen macadamia butter. I've seen the almond butter, I've seen the cashew nut butter, but yeah, exactly. This is the variety of peanut butters that you can get. And, I had another 6 before that I'd gotten from Lidl and Sainsbury's. So, like, this is filling out, what available. And also, here are some new tinned curries. Well, and 2 other tins from Asda. So I'm excited. I might try today the beef madras because that's been my um, favorite. So I will, in a few weeks, be able to compare with some level of authority the Sainsbury's to the Tesco to the Asda, which one is better in terms of the tinned curry. And so, yes, we will see. And so, yeah, that was my one of my recent highlights. Other than that, just cycling around. Can we have a curry show? The only problem with a curry show is that when you open it, you have to open the full thing. Do you know what I mean? You can't just have a spoon of it like you can with peanut butter. A peanut butter show is more of a possibility. If people really want a peanut butter show, if we get multiple requests, then that could go. But I'm not going to open up and consume 17 tins in one day. Nah, I want to. And also, when I'm eating, like, I know mukbang is a whole thing, but I want to enjoy it slowly, chill out, eat when I want to eat, not just because it's 10 o'clock. Sometimes I'll eat in the morning, sometimes I won't. But a peanut butter show is okay. Nah, I'm not going to cycle first and then eat 17 curries. But like I say, if let's say if 2 or 3 people ask for a peanut butter show, then I'll do it. Other than that, recent highlights. Yeah, when I got back, I had a nice little walk while it was sunsetting, and that was lovely. And yeah, if you've got any questionably quick questions, this is the section. It's not an interrogation, just the questionably quick questions section. Questionably quick questions. So, yes, let me know what you're up to. And let's talk about a brilliant thing. Brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? Do I like ants? You know what? I'm going to say that ants are brilliant. I'm going to say, the ability of the ant to carry so much more weight than its own body weight, that's pretty gosh darn brilliant. And also, yeah, like the way that they're organized, the way that they leave these little chemical smell trails for each other to follow. That is, you see the ants and it's all about industry, it's about achievements. Yeah, exactly. Ants can do amazing things. I think ants are brilliant. And Jess also wants to give a shout out to Stripes. I'm not wearing any stripes today. I do have some striped things, but not today. Anyway, yeah, the other brilliant thing that I want to say is clouds. Clouds are pretty gosh darn brilliant. I mean, giving us, just when you can see them in the sky and then they're fluffy and then they give us rain and sometimes shelter. It's nice. So, yeah, feel free to comment, ask questions from follow. Jess says their bikini is stripy, blue and white, but not red. So just the blue and white. Anyway. So let's talk about what I playtested yesterday. This is a game about selecting 7 cards speedily and strategically, hoping they synergize. So there's a couple of some cards in different markets, and when I say in different groups, up to 3 times during the game, you're going to put your hands down somewhere and then grab all the cards from there, and you will keep at least probably 2 of them. In theory, if you grab a group with more than 2 cards, you can get rid of stuff. So if there's 3 cards, you could get rid of 1. So you could get rid of 1 you previously had. If you grab 4 cards, then you could keep 2 of them and chuck 2 of them away, or you could keep all 4 and chuck 2 of the previously collected ones away. And you always need to end up with an odd number. So you start off with 1, which kind of guides you, and then at some point you're going to go up to 3, and then 5, and then 7. And once you're at 7, you're basically finished with the game. This is someone's hand at the end, and you can see they've got the elementary and the chemistry and the shoe tree. And these plants are worth a number of points, 5, 3, and 2, it says on the top left. The sunshine doubles the value of all plants and landscapes. The rain doubles the value of all the plants. And the hiker gives you +2 points for each nature card. So you get a bonus. And there's lots of cake in this hand, which just gives a bunch of points. And the shoe tree also gives a couple of points for having the feet. And during this test, I did realize that anything where it's doubling, it is problematic. I probably just need to do plus a number of points and sacrifice. And I was really trying to work out what needs to be done, not just in terms of balancing, not in terms of what the numbers should be. And yes, knowing things should be added to rather than doubled, that's really useful. But in terms of what combinations should there be, you've got here Hungry Horace, who gives you a point for each cake or food. And then the baker, if you have an egg, it gives you 3 bits of cake. So that's a really nice combo with the baker and Hungry Horace. Possibly a little bit too simple. Possibly Hungry Horace shouldn't come with a egg already on it. There's lots of cake, which again, so Hungry Horace is getting +1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And with the 7 fancy shoes, Hungry Horace wears 4 of them, so gets another 4 points, plus the baker gets 2 points. So the 7 fancy shoes, the mirror copies another thing, and then you've got the fancy trousers. This is something that I grabbed, where Hungry Harriet and the game designer are getting together for a date with the mating season. They've got their fancy gloves, they've got their shoe tree, and there's cake and there's mountains. And then the cake and the mountains don't actually synergize with anything, but they give you a few points. And this is the entire game, ending up with 7 cards and working out what score you got. My main feedback for this game was that people really liked the stuff where you're sacrificing things, stuff where there's a bit more tension, stuff where, hey, maybe this, there's the hermit who forces you to sacrifice all the other creatures. There's the robot revolution that forces you to sacrifice the creatures. There's the industrial revolution that sacrifices the nature, the basher that sacrifices the items, and a volcano that just sacrifices 1 creature but might be still worth it. All of these things are kind of in there too. And the 7 shoes or the 7 fancy gloves, if you've got more than 7 feet or more, you need to sacrifice them. And so I might try to put in more things like that. Like someone who gets annoyed if there's too much sound going on. I don't know what you'd call someone who's really looking for silence, but because each of the cards have different illustrations, so where you see the different musical notes in the drawing, some people might be looking after musical notes. There might be a band leader who really wants music, or a party planner who really wants music. Yeah, that is, and so that's what that game's all about. Yeah, the downside of this game is that ultimately it's not, the emergent gameplay comes about when you already understand the ways that you add up points in the game. So it's all about, hey, I've got a bunch of things and I'm hoping they synergize. I'm learning what the designer puts in there. It's about discovering the content. It's not really about expressing yourself. It's not about, I already know the rules, now I'm just learning the ramifications. It's more about discovering the bits. And so, yeah. But, yeah, there's the art supplies. And so, yeah, that's that game, and might try to have more of that. Let me know what you think. Is that a game that you would be interested in? I think it's something that I'm going to continue working on, but probably won't be within the next couple of things that I actually make. Yes, I did make this game, Jess. And so, thank you. I'm glad to hear you like it. And Jess also has a tangential question, says, I keep craving chips from the chippy. My tummy has been told we're going to the UK soon. I want hot chips, cold air, salt and vinegar, Bez and a park bench. I don't actually know any chippies around here, so that's not ideal, but I'm sure there's somewhere, but it might be a bit of a cycle away. Anyway, so yes, there's the Robot Revolution, where you sacrifice all your creatures before scoring. And the fancy shirts, you get points if a creature has 2 hands. The sheet music gives you points if you have a creature and an instrument. Pencils can be good for art supplies, which can be good for the canvas. Fancy trousers and shoes, which depend on the number of arms and legs that they have. The party planner gives you a little list, so you need music, hat, cake, and creatures. The musician, they want instruments. The rain is probably going to change. The rain is going to be plus points rather than double points, as I said. Maybe a scientist to take advantage of this chemistry. You've got the hermit, who maybe should be worth another point. I'm not sure. But I feel like it's getting close to the... I'm trying to keep putting more interesting cards and keep track of what's going on, like mating season, where you get points for each pair of creatures, and there's a little bit of cake on the side, and that feels perfectly appropriate. And I'm glad that you like it and think it's good. The next thing that we played was a game about judging which object best matches certain criteria, three descriptions, after everyone grabs an object, then does a quick pitch. So this, and interestingly, even though this isn't David Brain's favourite kind of game, because it's a game about creativity and sort of, trying to express yourself, but if you don't have the stamina to do a quick pitch, then it's okay. There's going to be, on the other side of the cards, are adjectives like bird-like, noisy, and charming. And you always have to grab something and say, hey, curry can be noisy because it's, results in flatulence. It's bird-like because it reminds me of the goop that a bird might regurgitate to its little birds. And it's charming because when you've got colourful curry, is that not charming? But you've got a choice of 7 things in the middle. So ideally you want to spend a little bit of time looking at them and thinking which actually best matches the 3 criteria that we just saw. We played a couple of rounds of this and then went round, and I'm trying to make all the objects things that sort of make you smile, things that you're able to talk a little bit about, like a bunny rabbit. Hopefully that's quite cute. Peppers, and a carved pumpkin, and a dictionary. And there we've got the bird. Bird-like should really be on the back of the bird. Who wouldn't smile at a panda And the bicycle, come on. Sausage is just kind of funny, and sun and mermaid. And the moon, beautiful moon and penguin. Then we've got the cards. I don't know if you can see, I've got a little rip. That's how I take notes. When I decide that the card is no longer suitable, but I don't want to destroy it, because I want to keep track of it, I do a little rip. So I remember, hey, these cards aren't right, because carrots and ladybirds, these aren't quite as funny and interesting, so I've decided to get rid of them and put in a bunch of more things like spacesuits and maybe unicorn. And I'm thinking whether Friends would be appropriate for the game, because Friends does seem a bit weird, but I think that if I set the expectation and then 30 of the cards are very much, okay, this is what they are, but then 5 of the cards could be like a compound noun, like dinosaur riding, or a plane riding dinosaur, like a dinosaur that's literally riding a plane. And then some of them could be like body parts or friends or big city things, like big objects that you can't actually carry. And so, yeah, it's at the point of doing the content. And this is interesting because people talk about content creation in the terms of, oh, you're making videos, you're making podcasts, you're writing reviews about games. But for me, content creation, like when you've got the structure of the game intact, and this game, the structure is done, all that needs to be done is to decide what these objects are, but that actually matters. And we had a conversation. Lien suggested having some celebrities. David Brain suggested that would be potentially a little bit too different, suggesting that a game that was exactly the same, but instead of summary and clever, it's got things like most like intelligent and yeah, like things that you might actually apply to people, friendly, wise, whatever. And then having these with a whole bunch of people from history or modern events, like, you know, all sorts of people, and just that could be an interesting game, and that might actually be more interesting, but it feels like a completely different game. And yeah, anyway, that it's interesting how you can apply the same structure, the same game design, but then change the content, and it is potentially a different experience that is going to be enjoyed by different people. And that's a really nice thing. I mean, it's a suggestion that maybe if this game works well, then there will be a second edition, but I'm really proud of it. And it works well for 3 players, it works well for 5 or more probably. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, it just needs me to draw 50 odd illustrations, which isn't too much. So back to, oh yes, I just want to say quickly, every time I go to Royal Festival Hall on the Friday, I do generally treat myself. Sometimes I've just got a bag of peanuts and I just munch on these peanuts with a little bottle of water with effervescent vitamins in it. But quite often, I do get a fancy thing from outside. And here's a mukbang, a bibimbap, which is a fried egg on top of a lot of veg, top of a bed of rice with a couple of things. So here I've got the chunky, not corn, the tofu with some in chili sauce with some chili chicken. Well, it's really nice. Anyway, back to the games. David Brain's game is called 5X. It's like 4X. So you explore, you exterminate, you expand, you exploit, but you also excavate. it's a simple, relatively simple card game. You're playing these cards, and then if you want to get all your cards back, you play Excavate to take all your cards back. And then each of your cards does a little different thing. So Exploit gives you resources, but if other people play the Exploit at the same time, you get less. Expand allows you to get one of the wonders, which is how you win, and also how you get other abilities. But then if other people are expanding at the same time, you have to outbid them. So how many resources you bid is really important. Explore gives you one resource, and it lets you see what people are going to use next turn. Exterminate hurts anyone who exploited or excavated. And excavate is the way to get your cards back, or to potentially use one of your buildings without, or to untap one of your buildings so you can use it again. And these are the cards you can get. This is all prototype artwork, but you get an idea of what they're going for. And this, like, there's a lot once you've played through a game. There's the resources. Everyone's got a couple of cards in front of them, and then you add up the numbers. So I won this game by quite a bit because Leanne and David kept clashing, and it's one of those key games of, if you can guess what other people are going to do, if you know what they're going to do, then you're going to win. This is a wonderful game. I'm really impressed with David and there's been a couple of very small changes. So Exterminate, it used to hit Exploit and Expand. And that meant that when you're playing Expand, you're a little bit, someone might hurt me with the Exterminate. But now Expand, it doesn't have that tension, but it has the built-in tension of someone else might outbid me, and how much do I bid? Because is this a valuable thing? Do I just want to bid 1 because no one else is going for it? Or do I bid 5 because I want to make sure that I actually get to build what I'm trying to build? And so then it encourages more building going on, because and I think that it's a really nice game. It's working really well, and all the wonders, as well as potentially offering you victory points, they also allow you to get resources, to attack other people, to defend from other people, or they give you little missions. And that is 5X, a wonderful game from David Breen. At the end, we played a quick dueling game, which isn't pictured, and I did a blind test of Dwindle, which is a word game, and made a couple of small notes. And it was really interesting to see David and Leanne playing and getting a bit of data on how many turns it will take, what is achievable, what is brilliant, what is perfect, and is perfection in the tricky mode actually attainable. It was really satisfying to see that Leanne did actually manage to work out the game. There were a couple of points where I had to not say anything, and it was difficult to sit on my hands, figuratively speaking, to zip up my mouth. But seeing when someone's approaching the game in a completely different way, sometimes you get inspiration for other games. Anyway, that worked really nicely. I'm glad. It was a lovely day as always, and had a lovely cycle ride back through the relatively busy road, as you can see, although I can cycle past here. And yes, that is my day yesterday. So, I am continuing to work on Dwindle, and yesterday I'm happy with this. This is probably going to be my next game. So I've already, after a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your radishes. Radishes version is, I've been thinking about this the past week, how to make the creatures confusing but not unfair. So for that game, Some of them are going to have crossed legs. Some of them might have anklets. Some of them will have extra little props like maybe cake or a test tube or, some food or maybe a fork or maybe one of them's holding a pair of glasses even though it doesn't have any eyes. And maybe one of them's got headphones just to confuse you, just to change the silhouette slightly, but hopefully it's still super clear what is part of the creature and what's not part of it. That's something that I've got to start doing. And no, I don't have two bicycles. I've just got the one. I don't think there's any reason for me to have two bicycles unless a friend is coming over, but that doesn't happen often enough. Yeah, I wouldn't. Anyway, so yeah, I've been thinking about categorical, and Alan Paul did give me some emails that I need to chase up to see if I can get those printers to work. I have to do a Kickstarter update. I have to tell everyone that I'm really struggling with categorical. At this point, I have to let them know. I don't know when it's going to happen. Yeah, I just don't know. Let me do a quick press. Let me remind myself what else I'm working on. So the next exciting thing, a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your radishes. Speaking of that Kickstarter, I decided yesterday as I was coming back home that I was just feeling stressed about the whole international shipment thing. I don't want it to be stressful. If I keep it UK only, I might make less money, but with only 30 something people who've clicked on it so far, and this is where I say, please, if you've not already clicked, please do click and check out this little thing. So yep, that is coming on the 15th of March. And so please go here and then click that notify me on launch. I can't sign up for my own project notifications, obviously that would be silly, but yes, please do check that. And stretch, stretchy time. Okay, but yes, please just click on that notify me on launch button and sign up to Kickstarter. Just to reiterate, if you sign up, then the ideal is that you pledge for literally £1 when it goes live. And hello, Josie. I was just talking about what games I'm working on and kind of encouraging people to sign up for a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your radishes. Because with a £1 pledge level, sure, for me, like there is a little bit of financial income. I get like 90 pence of that, which obviously feels good. Emotionally, it feels good knowing that one extra person is backing it, but also logarithmically. So in terms of the way that those things work, it's when someone clicks to back it, it means that more people are going to see it. Kickstarter shows it to more people. And so it will be going live on the Tuesday morning after Aircon. And so please do let people know, back it for £1 and share it with all your friends. And for £1, you will be able to get the full print and play files of at least for probably 5 different graphical versions. You'll get the Turnip version, you'll get the Beetroot version in black and white line art, you'll get the Beetroot version in with red bits, you'll get the Radish version line art, which I'm going to get Chris to scan in before I colour it all in, and you'll get the Radish version that I'll put in the most colourful colours I can do. And so when that goes live, please do back it for £1. And I'm trying to make all my busy bargain bags to be a no-brainer. But the trouble here is because there's multiple versions, I don't really know what people will want. So that's going to add a bit of a headache to the international shipping. The entire reason that I did busy bargain bags was like with a busy bargain bag, I want it to be all about lowering stress, making it so it's financially accessible to people, but also lowering my own stress. So I can, if I just sell 50 copies, then that's okay. It's not the end of the world. If it would be a bit sad, it would be a bit disappointing, but I'll still make a little bit of money. Is it hot in London, given that I've just taken off my jumper? No, it's not. I opened the window, it's actually a wee bit chilly, but quite often when I'm streaming, I always end up getting a bit warm and hot. Maybe it's the computer because the computer's heating up. Maybe it's because I end up animated and I end up moving and I'm like, end up hot-blooded. Josie says, that's interesting. I never understood why pledge for £1 rather than just going full in. Well, look, if someone wants to go all in and buy all the different versions, then absolutely, I encourage that. But that's not the decision that most people will be making, because obviously the reason for not going all in is to not spend the money. So really, the decision isn't between pledging £1 or going all in. The decision normally is pledging £1 versus pledging nothing. And if you're pledging nothing, again, if you pledge £1, then I get tiny bits of financial. I get like 90 pence of that because Kickstarter keeps about 5%, and the credit card fees come to about 5%. But I get most of it, and emotionally, it's like, hey, lovely, this person backed me. But also, as I say, in terms of the logarithm, that's the word, isn't it? In terms of how it works behind the scenes, then it makes other people more likely to back. So I hope that makes sense. And just jokes. Well, it's kind of true. I get to move and fidget when I stream. It burns more calories than not streaming. Streaming is a sport. Or maybe I'm just a bit hot under the collar because all the viewers are so beautiful. Yes, sure. Anyway, that is the end of my update. So, so that is the next thing to come out. And a game about, technically a game about drawing creatures, complementing the drawings, then complementing the complements, which I hope to be getting next week in time for going to Aircon. And I'm excited to see how people will respond to that, and making sure to take a few things over with me. That doesn't seem like it's going to need more work. So that might, if it does well, that would be the Kickstarter afterwards. But I feel like this is going well. I've also been thinking about a vague idea for a game to pitch, which is this isn't the name of it, but it's a game about connecting things on a map with paper clips. So this isn't a game that I'm going to self-publish probably, because I think that, well, I don't know how many paper clips, and it's something that I'm thinking about for pitching to Loki, maybe like a kids game company, and you're going to have little cards. On the cards, you've got animals, and what you've got to do is you've got to connect two parent animals, but then find as many babies as you can along the way. So you'll have two adult giraffes, and then find babies along the way, or two adult tigers, and then little tiger cubs along the way, something like that. Probably not hedgehogs, but yes, I've ordered a few hundred paper clips that are red, which was marginally exciting, and I'm going to try making something maybe in time for next Friday. It's going to be little square tiles, and there's going to be a simple grab a thing, and then you pay paper clips to pay for the things that you don't grab. And I'll see how it goes. A good way to use up paper clips in a digital world, says Josie. Anyway, I am, excited. And if you've got any other ideas for things that might make you smile, like a hedgehog, which will be in this game, or a trombone, or a giraffe, or 7 shoes, then let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap up. Over to you. What are you up to? You can share, but only if you want to. Over to you. What are you up to? You can share, but only if you want to. Whether it's something that you want to share, or something that you're just feeling strong about and that you think I'll care. Whether it's super serious or whether it's fun and frivolous, just let me know. And yeah, I'm interested. Ice cream. That's a good one. Let me write it down. Got a little notepad page open here. Yeah, ice cream. Ice cream. I will actually type out the list that I wrote last night. So I don't know if that will be too big, but friends, and then dinosaur riding a plane, and then I was thinking of game designer, and I'd put a picture of me, and monocle, bow tie, top hat, whistle, smartphone. Thought a joypad might be quite fun, and an ear. Jess today is relaxing and reading and admiring their thigh muscles. Congratulations on having good thigh muscles. Josie needs to create a new Dungeons and Dragons character for a new campaign. I hope you have lots of fun with that. Jess, I mean, this is notes, so it's just a bunch of things that I don't know. It wasn't really intended to be read by other people, so I don't know if you can compare that. But yeah, I'm going to take the compliment. Thank you. And thank you for having amazing thighs, I guess. Thank you for bringing your thighs into the world. I don't know what I'm saying anyway. So, recap and wrap up before we finish up. To recap and wrap up. So yes, played a lot of games recently. I tasted 6 new types of peanut butter yesterday. Well, actually, I think only 3 of them were new to me. But I did really enjoy being able to compare the dryness of the whole Earth with the gooiness of the Asda own brand, with the big chunks of the Marmite one, with the datiness of the one that has dates added to it, and cocoa, which is really interesting. Um, I've got a whole bunch of tinned curries. Now I've got all the Asda ones, and I'm going to compare them to the other ones that I've already got. So, I mean, how will Asda compare to Tesco and Sainsbury's? We will find out. I will find out tonight. I'm quite excited for that. Yesterday, trying out a game about selecting 7 cards strategically and speedily, hoping they synergize. Nature was definitely overpowered. I'm going to take out all the doubling in the game. Doubling, it's exciting, but it leads to issues, and it's too hard to balance. So I'm going to just make it so that things add points, give you plus points, and you can still tweak things. I'm going to have more things that sacrifice creatures or sacrifice themselves. Some creature about wanting silence, although I still can't think of a word for that creature that wants silence. Then glad that this game seems to be working well. A game about judging which object best matches 3 descriptions. After everyone grabs an object, then gives a quick pitch. Yeah, doing content creation. This bibimbap was delicious. Was quite spicy. David Brain's 5X game. So not only do you explore, exploit, expand, and exterminate, you also excavate, so it's one better. And it's actually a relatively simple 45-minute game. I mean, not simple for a non-gamer simple, but simple in that, you know, it's a 45-minute game, and then by halfway through, you'll know everything except for the exact qualities of the cards. And it feels like the framework has had a few twists, the attacking and defense. And so you can see I'm the only person who was able to attack in this game, but I never actually attacked. But even having that threat of an attack did scare David, which was quite nice. And we played a dueling game, which isn't pictured, Dwindle, which worked well and had a lovely ride home. Right, so that was... I talked about other games like the Categorical, which is really a pain right now. I've got to sort out manufacturing and yeah. But this Kickstarter is coming soon. Let's see. Josie is trying to avoid the news at the moment. Yes. Yes, same. Jess says, my thighs are strong and smooth. I love cycling in it. Would you like to run your tongue all through those piles of peanut butter? I mean, that's a strange way of putting it. I prefer just putting it in my mouth. I mean, Meridian Organic. Yeah, I've tried that one. I like crunchy peanut butter as well. And Jess says, I love products made from peanuts, and I love peanut butter, but I don't like actual peanut butter. Interesting. But anyway, that is my recap and wrap up. And if you want to check me out, I am Stuff by Bez everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Search for Stuff by Bez, but it's actually Things by Bez. If you want to know my future streams, check out stuffbybez.com/streams. And there's nothing. Oh, so next Wednesday we've got Jess to talk about conveying information. On Saturday next week, I'll be meeting Joseph Kelly, and there will be another cooking show on the 6th. But other than that, don't have much planned over the next week. So if you want to suggest any topics, then feel free. Otherwise, just carry on in my normal way. feel free to pop in, and hopefully it will be a nice chat. As always, share, spread the word, and thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Jess, Josie, and anyone watching after the fact. We've got some shout-outs for cashew nut butter. And apparently there's a mixed nut butter, a brand like Meridian with 4 types of nuts. I love it with Brussels sprouts and tofu, roasted in my air fryer. Oof, that sounds good. I mean, right now I'm all about just going after the peanut butters. Like, if there's interest, Josie, I did say earlier on, if a couple of people say, I will do a peanut butter thing where I compare like 12 different types of peanut butter and do a sort of review. Although it's not the super expensive ones, it's lots of the cheap ones. I mean, we've had one vote for a peanut butter show, so I'm waiting for 1 or 2 more people to say yes. Anyway, for now, there's only one thing left to say, and that is to say lots of love. And oh, I never asked the question of the day. It's too late. I never said what I'm up to. Today I am going to, I'm feeling a bit sick still, but I am definitely going to be trying one of the tinned curries, and I'm quite excited for that. I will be trying the beef madras, which is my favorite from the Tesco or the Sainsbury's, so we'll see how it compares. So yes, you know what? Let's say that tomorrow for 555, or ha ha ha, as the Thais say, it's going to be a peanut butter show. So tune in tomorrow and I will tell you all about the peanut butters. So for now, that does mean that I'll have to wash all my spoons again. Because can I record myself eating it? Why is that even a question? Of course I can. Oh, the beef madras. No, I want to have some private time as well. But yeah, I'll let you know how the beef madras went tomorrow. Don't worry. But I don't think it would be entertaining. Like, if you really want, I could start streaming right after this, and then you just see me all the day when I'm interacting with my laptop. But I don't think it's going to be entertaining unless I actually make time to talk. No, and that's the thing. Like, when I'm eating, sometimes I just want to not talk. Jess says I get it. You want time alone with your beef madras. Anyway, so once more, lots of love, and bye, 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 bye. This is the goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye-bye, Josie. Bye-bye, Jess. Lots of love. And yeah, this does make... I did have peanuts in this game, and peanuts got taken out, but maybe peanut butter is funnier than peanuts. Or tinned curry. Maybe tinned curry is funnier than curry. I don't know. But anyway, bye-bye.